Thank you for joining me on my masterclass. Now today, where can we park our money so we can pack money out? I've been telling you guys for a number of days now that putting money in banks is just about the worst thing you can do with your money. And I've gotten tons of emails, tons of DMs, tons of feedback, people asking me to break it down to explain to them why. You got to understand that banks are not going to give you a reasonable interest rate. They're going to give you an interest rate that's lower than the rate of inflation. So in the United States right now, banks are giving sometimes maybe 1%, sometimes even lower than 1%, but at the highest, maybe a bank can give you 2%, 2.3%. But here's the thing. What's the inflation rate in the United States? Much higher. It's something like maybe anywhere from 3.5 to about 4.2. And so if they're giving you 2% or 1.5%, they're giving you far lower than the rate of inflation. You gotta understand something. The best place to park your money so far on earth right now is going to be on the stock market. But you just don't want to go on the stock market. You want to go on the stock market with wisdom. And the best way to invest in the stock market are with exchange-traded funds, otherwise known as ETFs. Now, I'm going to give you an example. If you look at the screen right now, you're going to see the 6-month history of the ProShares Ultra 30 Dow. That's the ProShares Ultra 30 Dow. Now, this is an ETF linked to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now, if you see in the last 6 months, it went from $64 to $86 about today. So it went in 6 months' time from $64 per share to about $86 per stock today. So that means that it's grown by almost 30% in 6 months. So that means if you put in $100,000 in this ETF 6 months ago, today you'd have change, profit, dividend of about maybe $27,000. Now, if you look at the screen right now, you're going to see another one. Now, this is the iShares Dow Jones US. It's another ETF. It's also linked to Dow Jones Industrial Average. You're going to see that 6 months ago, it was at $105 per stock. Today, as I speak to you right now, it's about $126 per stock. So you see that in that 6 months' time, it's grown by about 20%. So that means if you put in $100,000 into that ETF, you would have made about $20,000 or more today. Now, if you look at the screen right now, you're going to see another one. Now, this is the Vanguard VOO, the Vanguard VOO ETF. Now, the Vanguard VOO is tied to the S&P 500 index. So, in the last 6 months, it's grown from $398 to $475 today. So, you see that that's 18% on your money. So, if you put in $100,000, you're going to get about $18,000 right now, 6 months. This is not the year over. And I normally put in about $100,000 because, I've been used to this. You've got a 98-year history of the S&P 500. For these other ETFs, you've got, long histories of them. Some people tell me, okay, but why don't you just put my money in a bank because it's safe to put money in a bank? It's not safe to put money in banks. Banks collapse, banks crash, even in very developed economies like the United States. In the United States, in the year 2009, 147 banks crashed. The next year, 2010, 150 banks crashed. In the last 10 years, 549 banks have crashed, collapsed in the United States. So people's money just disappeared. So a bank collapse is not going to affect the stock market. However, if the stock market collapses, it's going to affect every bank in the whole world, every single bank. That's why you saw that the 2008-2009 economic crisis affected the whole world because it had to do with the stock market. So you're safer putting your money in the stock market because the stock market affects every other thing, but banks don't affect every other thing. And then stock markets collapses are very, very, very rare, very, very few. And then if you spread your risk, if you spread your investment, it's not really going to affect you. That's why I've given you, several ETFs to put your money in. You got to understand, one thing that you got to understand there is this, is that all over the world, people are now aware of the power and the influence of money. I went to a communist country. And then I was surprised. Everywhere I saw people with money trading everywhere. And I told them, this is not the kind of communism that we learned about in school. We were told that you guys don't like money, everything is state-owned, everything is, nationalized. And they said, no, we are more capitalistic than even you in the United States and you in Europe. Communism is now only in the government structure. Every communist country, including North Korea, they've abandoned communism as an economic structure. They only use it as a governmental structure because money is now so easy to be made. Do not put your money in banks. You're deceiving yourself, you're fooling yourself. Your money is just getting diluted. You want to put your money in the stock market and in these ETFs I've told you about. If you don't know how to do it, subscribe to me on the X platform at Reno Omokri. You got to understand, I have got a master's in law from the United Kingdom in international banking and finance law, so I understand how all of these work. I understand how REITs work. REITs have been around since about 1960 when Eisenhower signed the REIT Act. So you can also put your money in a REIT. That's a real estate investment trust. But don't put your money in banks. Listen, I'm telling you, my subscribers are making money every day. Now, this is going to be for my subscribers on the X platform. Yesterday, I told you guys, invest in Robinhood. Now, if you are my subscriber, as you wake up this morning, you've already made about 5% on your money. And then don't take my word for it. You go and do your own research if you're not a subscriber of mine on the X platform. See how much Robinhood traded yesterday. See how much it's trading today. And by the time the market opens, it's still going to go up. Every day, I give my subscribers money to invest in. I give them stocks, cryptos. I give them REITs. I give them ETFs. I give them NFTs. I give them futures, commodities, everything to make money legally. And that's what you're going to get if you subscribe to me now. This is Ronald Mokri, the Apostle of Prosperity. If you watch this, you got questions arising from this and you're a subscriber of mine, ask the question on the subscriber tab. If you're not a subscriber, I encourage you to join. Thank you for watching and may God bless you.
But Reno travels all around the world. I hope you get inspired about what you see. Apostle of greatness, Reno is a master. Only one man against the whole world in large. Fighting with the monsters, poverty I can't stand. That's why Reno is